how many followers they have as like an indication of their importance. And sure, it's a metric that matters in some way, but it's not the end-all be-all. If I do a contest where I'm going to give, you know, a vacation to Hawaii to like one of the followers who follows me in the next day, I'm probably going to get a lot of followers. It doesn't mean I become more influential. There's lots of ways to game the system, and not all followers are created equal. It's very different if I get followed by, you know, someone who's a thought leader who's really paying attention to what I'm saying than someone who is following, you know, 50,000 people and is really never gonna see what I'm talking about. So that being said, what we believe is influence is the ability to drive action. So if I talk about my favorite restaurant in the city, and one of you goes to eat there tonight, I've influenced you. That's real influence. If I tweet about a link and you go read this article, that's influence. And that's the kind of metrics we want to track. Obviously, knowing if you go to the restaurant, that's harder, but knowing if you @message me, if you retweet me, those are actually things we can look at. So one very interesting facet of what we do is topical influence. Because when you get beyond the Michael Jordan level of influence, influence is topical. You may listen to what I have to say on Klout, but you may not listen to what I have to say on cooking, because you probably shouldn't. And that's what we're trying to get at. There's people who are topical experts, and they have very strong influence in certain areas, but not in others. So that's what we get at. You know, these are general categories, but we can actually drill down. If you look at your Klout.com profile, you can see what you're influential in, and those are the topics, not that you talk about the most, but that you actually get the most engagement on. So they can be specific, like social media, I guess isn't that specific, but you can actually become influential on a specific conference right after a conference happens or something like that. Or you could be influential on high heel shoes. But that's something we're able to look at, and it's interesting because within your own group of friends, you know that there are certain people who you look to for where to go to eat tonight, and there are certain people you look to for what computer you should buy, and they're not the same people. So that's something we're trying to get at. So this is a great quote here. For a service to succeed, it needs to attract those early adopters who can help propel a strong population. So again, that gets at like, why do you care about influence? Those early adopters who can propel a strong population, those are influencers. And if you're looking to propel your business, yourself, your personal brand, if you reach the right influencers, that can make the difference. So this is an example of something that Klout does that we've started doing. They're called influencer campaigns, where companies will reach out to us. And for instance, Virgin America, they were launching a new route to Toronto, and they wanted to get influencers in social media involved. Like, how do we get people to care about what's happening here? So we found the very top influencers along the route, San Francisco, LA, and Toronto, who were experts in travel and travel and Toronto itself, etc., and offered them a free round-trip flight on this new route. So that's really exciting. Now you've been tweeting forever, like your friends make fun of you because you're on Twitter all the time, and now these influencers get to say, you know what? Actually, it makes a difference. Brands now want to reach me. I got a free round-trip flight, and we've recently done something, with Audi. With Disney, lots of big brands who want to reach topical influencers because they know that you can make a difference. You can impact people. So, anyway, just to quickly describe what a campaign looks like. So, we'll target people based on topical influence. So, say, a camera manufacturer comes to us, we would find people who are influential specifically on cameras. Invite them to participate. Usually what something like that would look like is actually giving them a camera and a tryout. And we have a very strong code of ethics, so I should mention this. When we give someone a perk, we never require them to do anything. It will never affect their Klout score. They can take this camera and never talk about it. They can say how much they hate it. It's sort of up to the brand to believe in their product to use influencer marketing. Because that's what it's about. You have to say, this is a great product, and if I just get it into the hands of the right people, I know it will go well. And then, of course, assuming they like the product, they talk about it, the message gets amplified, and you actually see a huge reach. So this brings us to something, well, Klout is, in essence, is a meritocracy based on the quality of your content. So what we're looking at is, if you're that 17-year-old kid who's, you know, in his parents' basement spending every afternoon trying out cameras, really working to understand why one camera is better than another, blogging about this, tweeting about this, becoming the expert on cameras, we're here to recognize that and say, that's important. People are listening to you about cameras, and that means something.